Hello everyone, my name is Griff. I'm doing something a little different today. We're on the Galileonitis website instead of in-game. Just felt like doing a browser video today instead of an in-game one. And we are here reviewing the newest summon showcase, which went live, I believe, 2 days ago now. Or actually, today will be the second day. Which is the Hinomoto Summer banner. It is a Gala remix featuring also Galileonitis. It is a pretty stacked banner, but unfortunately it also is a limited time banner. So as you can see here, newly added limited time adventures include Summer Ieyasu and Summer Mitsuha, and newly added summertime dragon is Summer Marishiten. So yes, everything on this banner, including Galileonitis himself and the other three, are all limited. Now Galileonitis will be on rotation with the other Gala units, so he's probably the least limited thing on this banner. We have no idea when these other summer units will come back, if they'll come back at all. So it is it's pretty crazy to think about how we could be in a situation where we won't see these units in ever. So who knows the next time we'll see them. But we're going to get right into it. We have Summer Ieyasu, who is a water sword unit. Even amidst sandy shores, I am duty bound to offer my aid. One of Odin's 12 Worm Clan leaders, the head of the Boar Clan, wearing a light and airy swimsuit packed by Shizanka, he sets out on a summer beach survey to learn how better to keep his people safe and have a bit of fun himself. As you can see, he is on a jet ski here. Shout out to Mobius from Loki. But the cool thing about these two characters, and I'm just going to quickly go into both of them for a second, both of them have this, essentially, this part of their first ability where it immediately will ready it for use again. So, Ieyasu has phase shift on his, so it says deals damage to enemies ahead and activate skill shift. If the attack connects, Phase 2 inflicts bleeding, and Phase 3 inflicts bleeding and frostbite and dispels one buff from the target. Phase 1 and 2 will also immediately ready the skill for use, despite at the top of the skill use. So, despite at the top of their skill list. So, this will immediately ready Phase 2, and then it will ready Phase 3, so it'll be back at 0. So essentially you get this once, you get to use this skill 3 times. It equals about 2,700 SP total, I believe. And the cool part about it is that this third phase is actually shareable with a decently low shared skill cost. 8k is not that much comparatively. I believe it's less than it's more than a few other units where you're also getting the frostbite and the bleeding and the dispel. You'll only ever share phase 3. You'll not be able to share phase 1 and 2, and basically that means that you won't be able to use this to refresh your your normal character's skills or whatever. But it is still pretty cool to see, and it's interesting to see that they're playing into this headspace of, refreshing skills and stuff. And as you can kind of see here, he is probably going to play completely differently than the current water swords. A lot of the current water swords are kind of doing their own thing. You have Xander, who's kind of out there, stacking buffs, which you can't really do in Nihility, and then you have, playing into 4 strikes and stuff. So he is a bit different. Additionally, his second skill, Grace Worm Wave, deals damage to enemies directly ahead, bleeding foes take extra damage. The second time the skill is used, a variant with different effects will be used instead. The skill, when the alternate version between these, the skill will then alternate between these two versions with every use. So basically, you go back and forth, and the second use rather, it gives your team a strength amp. So not too bad, pretty good. He has the Frostbite equals use of strength and Dragon Haste collabs. And then as we go down here, he has Bleeding Devastator, Stun Resist, and Critical Damage. So pretty basic abilities, but as far as the actual kit goes, there's kind of a space to be playing around Bleed and Frostbite in this. He could slot into some comps, especially with more amp units coming out. It's pretty, it's pretty common to see units like this that do a little bit things a little bit different rather, And the more amp units we have, the better other units get. I know for a fact that Humanoid Mercury is kind of reliant on amps to a fault. So, the more amp water units we have, the better. Then as we go down here, we see the unit I'm hyped the most about, Summer Mitsuha. Lumber short, so lays on Worm Clan girl. Mitsuha of the Mouse Clan travels to Alberia's breaches after ditching or taking a totally sanctioned vacation from her duties. There she stages a revolution against the summer heat in the name of laziness. Is that a thing? Very cute, very lazy. She has sleep res 100 though, so I guess she can't fall asleep, so that's a bit unfortunate. But she is a dagger, As I am with all daggers, I am 100% going to summon her. I'll spark her if I have to, but I already was super hyped for this unit regardless because I really like Mitsuha. Originally, she was a dagger. Anyway, and now we have this version of her, which is also a dagger, and this is a flame dagger, so I have a bit of contention with, using Azalith or Galaxy with her, but she is a bit different in what she does. So for starters, Mouse's Summer Revenge. And you see the cute little icon here of the mouse on fire. Deals damage to the target and nearby enemies and inflicts Scorch Rend. If the user has at least one Sizzling Flower, the variant of the skill called Mouse's Midnight Summer Revenge will be used instead. Mouse's Midsummer Revenge deals damage to the target and nearby enemies and deals extra damage to Scorch Rend enemies based on combo count. It also consumes one Sizzling Sunflower and immediately readies the skill's initial skill for use, despite at the top of their skill list. So basically you get the skill back after using it. Decent SP for the damage, but as you can see here, the second time you use it, it does have a much bigger effect against Scorch Rend enemies, so you will actually be doing more damage, so she will work great in Scorch Rend's comp. She has basically in-kit, in-ability Scorch Rend Punisher based on combo time. Direct combo time super quick, but this unit is almost perfect to run with a backline Nobunaga. Nobunaga is the Horse Clan leader. She was on the same banner as Mitsuha when they released. She has the collab of strength and combo time, so she'll be able to give Mitsuha more combo time as well as giving her strength, which is what she really needs. So yeah, that's awesome. This first skill looks great. Then you get the second one, grants the user a Sizzling Sunflower. The second time the skill is used, it will instead grant the user a Sizzling Sunflower and a Strength Amp. The skill will alternate between these two versions after every use. So you get 4k SP, you get Sizzling Sunflower, it stacks up to 3 times. So essentially, if you wanted to, you could stack up 3 of these stacks, and then in break, you could go in with this and just basically burst down the enemy, because each time you use it, you're gonna have more damage against them. Your combo count will stay up as you do it. It'll be super, like, doing a bunch of damage just on repeat. You're basically using your first skill 3 times in a row, probably stacking with whatever amps you have additionally. So she has the potential to burst, but her first ability kind of deals with that, and as you can see here, she has critical rate and a flame of up 10 hits equals run rest plus 10%. So as you can see here, reduces damage dealt by the user initial skill displayed at the top of the skill list, and dragon skills to enemies in the break state by 15%. So essentially, they didn't want her just full bursting every character in the game, but this is kind of like Gala Reborn Nidhogg or Gala Agni skill, where their skill just does so much that they had to burp it, or nerf it rather, to make it a bit better. She's not even nerfed by that much, but there is a little bit there. And then as you can also see here, but increases attack rate by 5% and also increases the user's attack rate by a further 10% when their initial skill is ready for use. So essentially the way you'd probably want to play her is you'd probably want to get her first skill up. Maybe use it once, or if you have Scorch Rend in the backline, just don't use it at all. Wait for her second skill to come up. While her second skill is coming up, you have that attack rate buff. Then you use your second skill, and then you use your first skill in tandem with each other. And essentially, you get that increased damage, you get that Scorch Rend Punisher on it, and then your first skill comes back up, and then you wait for your second skill, and you essentially just continue to have this 15% attack rate up building as you go. So yeah, I think that she actually has the potential to be really good as a Scorch Rend DPS. If you want to slot her in with someone else, like, a Galileonitis or a Summer Alex, they have the potential to do a lot of damage and a lot of beefy attacks there. So I do think that there is a possibility to have a really just strong unit combination with those units together. And then additionally, she has Sleep Breath and Flurry Scorch Rend Punisher, increases damage dealt by Sport Energy by 35% when the combo time is 15 or higher. Again, as I said, you're going to want to run combo time on her. So much of her abilities and power comes from her combo timing, or holding a combo count. So, just make sure you have someone with combo time. That's either Azalith, which will have the same collab. You have Nobunaga, who I think is the best in the slot. Or if you want to cycle through your second skill even faster, you could go to Summer Alex. As far as backline go, for both of these, I think the basics will be fine. I think Mitsuha really wants skill damage, and I think he would probably want, just basic skill damage, strength, kind of stuff like that. But really, you do want combo time on Mitsuha. Then last, actually not last, there's actually another thing we need to talk about after this, I completely forgot. Maybe the highlight of the banner, this is the one I can talk the most about in terms of should you summon. Galileonitis, he is a rapid fire mana caster. He is extremely strong. He has his first skill that inflicts Scorch Rend, pretty basic, and then he has his Absolute Dominion, deals damage to enemies directly ahead, dispels one buff, and grants the user the Draconic Grace effect. So you can see here, Draconic Grace has 5 levels. Essentially, it reduces damage and increases your damage as it goes on. Super good, super useful. on most units, and then once you hit level 5, I believe if we go down here, yeah, when he has level 5 active, his shapeshift time will be halved, but the amount of Dragon Age consumed will also be halved. So essentially you can shapeshift faster, but you'll have less time on it. He works really well with Gala Mars because he really wants to be cycling through his skills a lot in order to get Draconic Grace up. And he is kind of, a lot of his strength even comes from the fact that he's a rapid fire Manicaster, and he has so much, this Ruthless Ignition, he deals more damage in the overdrive state, which means he's going to be breaking faster. And then even additionally on top of that, he does more damage to Scorpion enemies. He has perfect stun resist. He will shapeshift into Mars whenever he wants, which means that he can, use skills twice use the skill on the dragon twice regardless. He has this combo time equals shapeshift prep, which works really well for him since he's a rapid style Manicaster. He essentially just builds Dragon Rage extremely fast. And he does have 2 decent skills, so he is kind of a, juggernaut in the flame element, and I think he's probably one of the best flame units currently out at all. So I do think if you don't have him, he is extremely integral to most Jaldabaoth teams, at least in auto that I've seen. I remember when I made my video on it, I used Galileonitis, and a lot of people were like, do you have any substitute for Galileonitis? And I was kind of like, no, not really, because he's so strong and detrimental, and he's also, he's a royal member of the family, so he has a cool element in that way. So I do think he's worth it. Then last, but certainly not least, we have Summer Marishi 10. Now, this unit might be one of the strongest we've seen in a long time, because she has the ability to, give everyone on the team a strength up. As you can see here, she deals damage to enemies directly ahead, inflicts bleeding, and grants the entire team a team strength amp. So not even just a normal strength amp. And I think that is super important because, a lot of the times with a lot of these other comps, you're looking for ways to get strength amps onto multiple people at the same time. And it's a big deal when you're kind of trying to cycle through these amps and trying to give everyone an amp at the same time. In order to just jump straight to team strength amp, essentially what that does is it means that everyone else in the game, basically, everyone else on your team is going to jump straight to team strength amp. And then they're going to start stacking their own strength amps with each other and with themselves. So if I use this ability, and then I have Human Mercury use her ability, she's going to give everyone, another level of team strength amp too, because she already has team strength amp 1, as far as I understand at least. Maybe they stack separately. I haven't seen this. I haven't fully gone into this, but from my understanding, when you use a strength amp, it builds on whatever strength amp you have, and if it's team strength amp, it builds everyone else's up. So if I use this ability, and then another person also uses a strength amp ability, it should both go up to level 2, and then if a certain character who has the ability to go to level 3 hits it, we'd all go to level 3. And the cooldown is based on each individual person, not the total amps that you have. So it is possible to really just cheat through the amp system using this dragon. Now, as far as her aura goes, she has 70% strength, and then she has Worms of War 2. If the user is tuned to water, increases 100% skill damage at the start of the quest. Also increases skill damage by 40% when the user has a strength amp. And her might level is on that of a Gala Reborn Dragon. So I do think that she's incredibly strong. I do think that everyone should try to pick up at least a copy of her, because I think that she might be a integral part to the future of water content going forward, because if she can cycle through these amps that quickly, if you have at least one on your team, you're shapeshifting into her, she is going to be able to give your team an incredible boost going forward. Essentially, once you get a dragon transformation, you might just immediately want to transform to her. You get this massive buff that can't be dispelled, you get this good skill damage, you get bleeding, really there's a lot here to like about Summer Marishi 10. So I do think that she is extremely strong and an extremely integral part to this entire, basically just the entire game as a whole going forward. But yeah, that's going to be it for me for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope your free summons go well. I hope you got all the characters that you already wanted. And be sure to enter the giveaway that's in the description. And I will see you guys next time.